Welcome to this special episode of The Buck Stops Here. We're coming to you today from Srinagar. On the program today, special ground reports that take a 360-degree look at the raging debate over the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. On the program today, we'll bring you special reports that bring you all the different perspectives. The perspective of the civilian government that believes the security situation here has improved enough for special powers to the army to be withdrawn from at least some areas. We'll also bring you the perspective of the army, why it's resisting this, why it believes that this could lead to the undermining of the soldier here in the valley. And also, and perhaps most importantly, the human stories that are often forgotten or get lost in this debate. Heartbreaking tragedies on all sides of the ideological divide. This special program, our ground reports over the debate around the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Images of calm, of beauty, and most importantly, of relative peace. This year, the turbulent waters of the Kashmir Valley have been rather still, making for a celebrated difference from the nightmare that was the summer of 2010. If last year a chain of volatile events brought a sea of protesters onto the streets in a dangerous tsunami of public anger, this year the flood has been one of wide-eyed and enthusiastic tourists. In fact, it's been a great year for the Kashmir Valley. A near 80% turnout in a historic panchayat election. More than 10 lakh tourists to the valley, which makes it the highest number in 25 years. A systematic and visible reduction in militancy and no significant street agitations. So as the boulevard by the Dal springs to life every day, with kebab walas, shawl sellers and hordes of visitors, there is definitely a sense of change in the air. One that the Chief Minister is arguing now needs to be built on through the partial withdrawal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act from some areas of the state.
कि हालात तो ठीक हुए, लेकिन खराब हालात के वजह से जो कानून यहाँ पे लागू किए गए थे, उन कानूनों को हटाने का काम जो है यहाँ पे हुआ नहीं. आज मैं बड़ी खुशी से कहना चाहता हूँ कि शायद
the open declaration by him that this proposal would be policy in a few days has brought some criticism that the Chief Minister has acted unilaterally and perhaps in haste. He insists, however, that it is a peace dividend owed to the people for the year gone by.
It's not an ego hassle for me.
It's not an ego hassle?
It's not an ego hassle for me, and I'm not looking at this through the paradigm or the prism of political benefit. I'm looking at it purely as a strategic security sort of decision. When you turn around and tell people that there will be a dividend that will flow to you from a peace that you help create, don't you think you owe it to those people? I mean, compare last year to this year. Compare Srinagar. I mean, let's leave the other areas. Compare Srinagar this year to Srinagar last year and see how the people have cooperated in building peace and allowing normalcy to return. Don't you think they're owed something in return? And I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, you are declaring an area to be free from disturbance. What's the big deal?
A very big deal, says the army, clearly upset at the public announcement that was made in the absence of not just internal consensus, but also fierce opposition from the military. In the Army's internal assessment, the valley, though peaceful this year, is not yet in a post-conflict phase. Instead, the term used to most often describe this stage of fragile peace is that it is a time of conflict stabilization. Senior military officers are concerned that the trouble in the valley may just have been placed on what they call a tactical pause by an external adversary that they say the Chief Minister has forgotten to factor into his current position.
In actual fact, all that has happened is that 1 year has passed off peacefully. The only person who knows the true price of how it has passed off peacefully ought to be the armed forces, and in particular the army. because the amount of wear and tear that has taken place from the LC backwards to the receiving areas, to the hinterland areas which are thinly populated, to the more populated areas, and finally onto the cities has been enormous. And nobody in the army is going around thinking that there has been a kind of a breakaway event that has happened. We are grateful that things have been reasonably managed, but we are certain that much more needs to be done before we would be anywhere near saying that the problem is fully under control.
A reminder of the simmering unpredictability came this past week when, just days after the Chief Minister's AFSPA announcement, a series of grenade attacks targeted security personnel in different parts of the valley. So far, the army and the Omar Abdullah government had resisted from getting into any sort of public confrontation on the issue of AFSPA. But the grenade attacks provoked an unseemly statement from senior National Conference leader and brother of Farooq Abdullah, Mustafa Kamal, blaming the army for deliberately triggering the grenade explosions to stall the lifting of the Special Powers Act.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.